Hey everybody, just wanted to show some of the action today from our Discord group, and just going to show some both winners. Well, one winner, one loser. One that would have been a winner, but I actually sort of chickened out on it. I'll tell you why and show you why I didn't actually take the trade, even though it did end up working actually really well. So this is RTY. I was watching this morning. This is pre-market. You can see this strong buying that came off of this consolidation. So I was just looking to grab an entry off of that. And you'll see in a minute, I'll show what the opening bell, and there was some pretty strong volatility that came in at the open and pretty strong selling pressure right at the open. This is just me sending this over to my Discord group. Um, and you'll see here the selling pressure that came in. I probably should have canceled the order with this selling pressure, but I was looking at the S&P 500 as well, and that was showing more strength. And I figured there was a decent possibility that this trade would still work, that we'd come into the level and get a little bounce and at least get my fill. You can see I'm not going for a massive profit here, just a little scalp. And I like to be in and out of my trades pretty quick. So you'll see this come right down in. There we go. I was looking at S&P, hit my level. I heard the ding on my thinkorswim where I execute. You can see the reaction here. So it is reacting to the level. And then all of a sudden, all at once, we just get blasted through. So this trade didn't work out. That was kind of a rough way to start the day. It almost wanted to work. And so what I do is I keep this level here because you're going to see later on we come back to it. Now, this is a little bit later in the day. This is that same level, but this is a little bit of a kind of zoomed out look. You can see where we got sort of just blasted right through. And what I'm looking at now is potentially shorting this from the underside. So I'm looking at where the volume is in this consolidation, and I'm looking to go short. And what happens is, as I'm kind of setting this up, you can see that there is a pretty strong reaction happening to the downside, and it's right off the bottom of that consolidation. So it doesn't come right into the level that I'm interested in, but you can see the selling here. And you'll see it even more right here. So you can see this is just a few seconds later. That big old top wick. So in my mind, I was like, this level's probably that was probably the move I was looking for. You can see how close it came to where I would have wanted the entry to be. So I actually canceled my order here. I sort of considered that area to be used up and was no longer interested in taking it. I figured if we come back up there, there's a decent chance we would just blow right through. Of course, this is now, this is NQ I was looking at as well. And you can see I was looking at some trades here, looking at where we might want to take any sort of position here, and I was looking at taking a long. I didn't actually take this trade, but I was just looking at it, and of course I'm streaming all this to the group, so anybody who wanted to could have taken it. But I was looking to go long here, and you'll see it kind of almost got filled, and then we'll cut back over to the RTY, and you'll kind of see how that plays out in a second. So now we're back at the RTY, and you can see price kind of came up to that level. You can see that reaction down from it, which is where I didn't really want to take the trade. You can see it actually came up twice. So there's the initial reaction down, and then came back up to it again, back up to that level. But I want you to see what happens. So oftentimes when you get completely blown through one of these levels, usually you can get it from the other side. And this worked out really well. So I was actually still considering whether I wanted to take a stab at this when I saw price kind of reacting. You can see my indicator there. That just identifies divergent bars, just a little script I had worked up. You can see we get some really nice, strong selling off of here. And I'm actually just putting this on the chart just because I wanted to see if it would have hit what my target would have been had I taken that original trade that I canceled. This is the trade that I canceled, and you can see it would have worked out super, super nice. Incidentally, this push down triggered in more definitively the NQ long, and you'll see that in a second, and that ended up being a winner as well. So that was a nice trade that members of the group could have taken. But this little RTY move was a pretty nice move, and it actually continued further down. If we watch how price kind of further developed from there, there was a much bigger pullback, more so than just that one bar. So that was a little bit of a bummer that I didn't take that trade, but I think I had good reason. The level looked a little bit spent at that point. So now this is just the NQ trade. You can see that push down in the RTY created a better entry in the NQ, a more definitive entry into the NQ. You can see the RTY still moving down off that level here, and the NQ is going to be sort of doing the opposite. All right, so it's a bit later in the morning. You can see the RTY is continuing to break down off that initial level I tried to take a long off of. And so now I'm just looking on how to get in on this move. I'm looking for continuation down at least into the bullish reversal down below, because it kind of looked like we were going to just be ranging. And so I'm looking at this level here. There's this brief consolidation, and I'm considering going short here. I haven't entered any orders yet. I'm just sort of looking at this. And you'll see that in a moment, price kind of continues to break down out of this area, and that makes me like the trade even more. So you'll see this sort of price action kind of develop here. So I really like when I see strong buying or selling come out of a consolidation. That gives me more confidence to enter a trade if price returns to that area. And so this price action is looking pretty strong. I believe at this point, I think I had my my entry in. And so you'll kind of see how this plays out a little bit. So my entry or my order is in. I'm not yet into this trade, but I like the way that price broke down out of that area. So I'm just watching it. This is just another trade on CL I was happening to watch at the same time. But at the moment, we're just keeping an eye on this RTY position. Okay, so at this point, just sort of, starting to get a little bit frustrated with the trade, right? Just to give you a little peek inside my mind. But I pulled up the profile and I noticed that, these two volume peaks were pretty close to each other, and that price was looking like it was going to react at this higher peak. So I just sort of took a deep breath and said, all right, let's just let this thing ride out. You can see we start to get some selling off of that area at this time. And then, the rest of the trade just sort of follows from there. Okay, so at this point, I don't show it on here on my trading view, but on my execution platform, which is Thinkorswim, I actually lowered my stop to, there's those two or three overlapping bars there, and I put it just above those high, because that's a little, on a micro time frame, that was a little lower high, and then broke down to a lower low. So I put my stop there. So it's just a few ticks actually of loss at that point if the trade were to go against me. So at this point, I actually lower my stop again. You can see there's that little, again, little lower high, that little blue candle, which then had that white candle come after it. And once we kind of broke down below the low on that white candle, I moved my stop again. So at this point, just a couple ticks in profit, worst case scenario. And I actually thought it was going to come back up. I was really annoyed because it came so close to my profit target and then started to pull up there. But again, patience is key when you're trading. So I just sort of sat on my hands. I was tempted to maybe pull some profits out of this while I still could. But you can see that the selling pressure resumed. And in a few moments here, our target gets hit. There it is. And that's how we traded the RTY this morning, and then took a break. So if you guys want to join us, dpmtrades.com. You can join our trade room for free. Just click on community.